All right, class is back in session here at the University of Radlands. Class Radlands 101. Today we're going to be discussing junking, or the junk abilities on cards. Now I have laid out here all of the abilities that you're able to do by a junk. Now what junk means is the card is in your hand. It is in your hand of cards, and you're going to discard it directly from your hand into your discard pile to do the ability on the upper left corner of the card. A junk effect will not resolve or will not go off if you are discarding a card from the deck, or discarding a card from your hand, from maybe an ability from another person, or even an ability such as Zito Khan's ability where you have to discard cards. So I have this, the player card cheat sheet right here, just to kind of go over everything with you. It's pretty handy. Tells you what all these symbols mean and what the symbols do. So this is really nice to have in your play area just as a reminder. Now keep in mind, in the deck, you are never going to draw something that is going to damage or destroy somebody's camp directly. So if you're stuck and you're trying to spend some water to draw cards, you're never going to find that answer. The destroy symbol and the damage symbol are not junk effects in the deck. Everything else is, though. So we have an injure. Some cards you're able to junk or discard to injure, which means you are going to be able to damage punks or people, but not camps. So if it's the first hit or first injure on a punk or a person, the punk goes back to the top of the draw deck, and the person is then injured and not ready. The second injure from a junk effect on a person will discard them completely. They are destroyed. So next we'll go to the restore ability. If you decide to junk a card with the restore, that means you are going to be able to undamage or uninjure any camps in the camp spot, or any people in the person area. Now keep in mind, when you restore a camp, you can pay for its ability. When you restore a person, they are not ready. You're not able to use their ability unless a trait says otherwise. Some people you're able to use all the time. The next junking ability is drawing. You can junk or discard a card from your hand. That way you are able to then draw another one. Maybe this card wasn't the answer for what you're needing, and you're hoping to dig a little further into the deck to find that solution that you might need to your problem that the opponent is showing you. You can always junk this symbol on some cards to give yourself an additional water. Now, as we mentioned in other how to play videos, you start out with 3. Sometimes you might need another water. Some cards, very powerful cards, cost 4, or you just want more abilities during your turn. So junk and discard that water symbol to grab the opposite color of whatever you're using as your extra water between you and your opponent. Now you potentially have 4 water for your turn, or if you discarded 2 or junked 2, potentially 5. And there's no limit to the amount of water that you have access to during your turn. So keep that in mind. You just start with 3 water at the beginning. The next ability is gain a punk. And we've discussed punks in the people or person video. So if you need a refresher, go back and watch that. But punks just come from the top of the deck. They come out when they're injured or damaged once. They go back to the top. Now, you are only going to have the punk junk ability on these 6 unique characters. So this might be one of the more rare junking abilities in the game. So something to keep in mind. And the last junk might be one of the more important junks, I guess, depending on where you're at in the game. But that is the Raider symbol. So whenever you junk a card that has the Raider symbol, if Raiders aren't already out, they move from the Raider spot on the side over to event spot number 2. If the Raiders were already out in the event queue and in play, and you junk a Raider, they can move up If you junk another one, they can then resolve. So this junk ability of the Raiders symbols allows you to not only play your Raiders, but also move them along the track, as long as another event isn't in the way, keep in mind. And we discussed that in the events video. So that is Junking 101. If you have any additional questions or comments, please leave them below, or maybe watch some of the other videos in this series that go over other areas of the game. And as always, stay thirsty, punks.